Hey there, friends, it's Laurie. Today I'm sharing a Valentine's Day wreath along with 2 Valentine DIYs. I used mostly Dollar Tree supplies, and as always, I hope you have fun crafting with me. So let's get busy. Getting started, I'm using a 15-inch grapevine twig wreath. I rescued this from a free pile at a church yard sale, and it definitely wasn't perfect, and I did have to clean it up a bit. It was coming apart in one section, so I used my floral wire and wrapped it around it to attach it back together. I'm adding greenery to my wreath, and I'm using 3 bunches of boxwood. I picked these up at Joann Fabric and Craft Store. Mine were on sale, but I'd say definitely hunt around and find out where you can get them at the best price. I'm cutting my greenery into pieces, so I pushed it all to the top, and then using my clippers, I'm clipping it about 3 inches down. I now have them all clipped, and each stem comes with 2 pieces. I need to make the 3 bunches that I have fill out the top of my wreath. So I'm pulling the second piece of boxwood off of each stem. If you end up having plenty of boxwood on hand, you can always just skip this step. I'm starting with the boxwood on the wire, and all I'm doing is adding some hot glue to the top side of my grapevine wreath and then tucking in the stems. As I was adding them, I knew how many I had on the stem, so I did my best to attach them evenly onto the wreath. I continued working my way around, adding on the hot glue and the greenery. With those all in place, I'm now using the pieces of boxwood that are not on a wire. If you decide to attach yours the way that I'm attaching mine, be sure to use a finger protector. I'm adding some hot glue directly onto the wreath and then tucking the ends of the boxwood in between the grapevine. If you end up doing this without some type of finger protector, there's a good chance that you will get burned by the hot glue. I continued adding hot glue into all those empty spots and tucking in the boxwood. Now that I'm done, I think it's so pretty, and you could hang it as is, but because it's Valentine's Day, I'm going to add on some red and pink accents. I'm making a simple bow for my wreath, and I'm using a 2.5-inch wired red and white gingham ribbon, and I picked this up at the Dollar Tree. I'm also using my bow maker that I picked up on Amazon a while back, and using the ribbon, I'm making 2 18-inch tails and 2 4-inch loops. When I'm done, I'm then cutting both ends of my ribbon off at an angle. I'm attaching my bow together using an 18-inch long piece of floral wire. I'm wrapping it around the center, pulling it tightly onto the back, and then twisting it together. To give the center of my bow a little bit more of a finished look, I'm using about a 4-inch piece of the matching ribbon, and I'm just tying it into a simple knot. I'm adding some hot glue to the center of my bow and then placing down the knot. With that in place, I then turned my bow over and attached the 2 ends onto the back. Now that I'm done, attaching the bow to my wreath is super easy. I just found its placement and wrapped the 2 wires around it and twisted them tightly in the back. With my bow in place, I'm now adding on some heart accents, and I picked all of these up at the Dollar Tree. I'm using some of their pink and red heart picks. They come 6 to a package, but I'm only using 5 of each color. Using my clippers, I left about 3 or so inches of pick on each. Now that I have all 10 of my hearts cut, I'm attaching them to the wreath. I'm starting with the red, but you can always start with the pink, and I'm placing them a bit more to the outside. As I'm working my way around, I'm alternating my colors. I'm also doing my best. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but spacing them as evenly as I can on the wreath. Each one tucked in tightly, but to make sure that they don't move, I'm using some of my hot glue and just adding a bit to the end of each one. In addition to the larger hearts that are on the wreath, I found some smaller ones at the Dollar Tree, and they come in the same colors. I'm using 8 of each color, and these I'm just randomly placing them on my wreath. I didn't have any set pattern, I just tried to fill in some of those open spaces. And the good thing is, if you don't like where you put it, because it's not glued in, you can just pull it out and put it someplace else. Now that I have all my hearts in place, I'm using my hot glue gun to permanently attach them. With everything in place, and to finish up, I gave the ribbon tails just a bit of a curl. This is one of the easiest wreaths I think I've ever made, and now that I'm done, it's ready to hang for Valentine's Day. If you're new to my channel, please consider clicking on that little red subscribe button below, leaving me a thumbs up, and to all my returning friends, you know how very special you are to me. Getting started, I'm using one of the metal heart wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. I'm wrapping it using 2.5-inch red and white heart ribbon. You'll need 2 of these, and these came from the Dollar Tree as well. To attach my ribbon, I'm using my glue gun and placing some on the wire supports. I'm then adding my ribbon and making sure that I tuck part of it underneath. Once that's set up, from there it's pretty easy. You just continue adding hot glue and wrapping the ribbon around the form. As I continue to wrap it, I'm adding hot glue onto the ribbon before it, as well as the metal frame. I'm making sure to pull the ribbon tight and to keep the spacing between the ribbons as even as possible. When it came to the top, it was a little tricky to maneuver. So I slowed myself down just a bit and made sure to keep tension on the ribbon. From there, I kept adding on the hot glue and wrapping it around the heart. When I came to the end of my ribbon, I started on the next spool, and one of the most important things to do is make sure that when you start your ribbon, all your hearts are heading in the same direction. When I came to the bottom of the heart, I cut about an 8-inch piece of ribbon or so. I hot glued it over the existing ribbon, and after I placed it down, I pulled both ends tightly around the bottom of the heart, and this gave a nice finished edge. I'm adding a decorative edge to the outside of my heart, and I'm using some of this pretty heart ribbon lace. I picked this up at the Dollar Tree. I turned my heart over, and using my hot glue gun, I attached it to the outside edge of the heart. As I was attaching the lace, I made sure to keep it even on the back. So when I turned the heart over, the lace had the same consistent edge. I'm wrapping my heart in lace that I found at the Dollar Tree, and it's really nice quality for $1.25. But if you can't find this, sometimes if you go to Joann's or Walmart, you can find remnant pieces, and that would work great for this project too. I'm adding a really simple bow onto my heart. I'm using the same heart ribbon, and I'm placing down 1 inch on my bow maker, and then I'm making 2 4-inch loops. With that complete, I'm adding on a white 1.5-inch wired ribbon, and I had this on hand. I followed the same instructions as the heart ribbon, but this time I made 4 3-inch loops. To hold my bow together, I used a piece of floral wire. I wrapped it over the middle, pulled down both sides tightly, and then twisted it in the back. I want to raise up the center of my bow, so I'm using a piece of the white ribbon, and I'm making a knot. I added a dot of hot glue in the center of my bow, attached the knot, and then wrapped the 2 ends around and attached those in the back. With that complete, I then used my clippers and snipped off the extra wire. I attached my bow onto the side of my heart using my hot glue gun. I'm using one of the small red sparkly hearts from the Dollar Tree, and I'm hot gluing that into the center. I found this cute tin Valentine's Day truck at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to add this into the center of my heart. Now that I've removed the hanger, I need to hide those hanger holes. I'm using 2 of the red heart felt stickers from the Dollar Tree. I placed one on the back of the truck over the hanger hole, and the second one I placed on the front of the truck over the hanger hole, and it blended in nicely. When I was done, I then hot glued it in place on my heart. I made a simple wire hanger and placed it on the back, and with that, my Valentine's Day heart is ready to hang. Getting started with my Be Mine Valentine DIY, I'm using one of the wooden box drawers from the Dollar Tree. Mine has a heart on it, but you can use any style that they sell because you won't end up seeing it. They come in two pieces, and I'm going to be painting both of them with my white acrylic paint. As I was painting them, I only painted the outsides of the boxes. I didn't paint the insides. With both of the boxes dry, I'm using some pink acrylic paint from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to accent the edges of the boxes. I'm using a small paintbrush, and I'm just kind of dabbing the pink paint around all of the edges. I'm not being super fussy, I'm just adding the paint and working my way around. I made sure the paint was completely dry, and now I'm adding on some Valentine stickers that I found at the Dollar Tree. I did notice a typo on one of the stickers, so I'm not sure you could use that one, but I'm turning mine over and using two on the back. I'm using the bee sticker, and I'm attaching it to the smaller drawer, and I'm making sure that the cutout is on the opposite side. And now I'm adding the word Be Mine to the larger box. The wing on the bee, it just looked a little plain to me, so I thought I would cover it using one of the small heart felt stickers that I found at the Dollar Tree. I used my black Sharpie and I filled in the bee stripe, and then I added on the heart as a wing. I'm attaching the two blocks together using my E6000. I added some onto the bottom of the smaller drawer, and then I centered it on the larger block. I'm using some of the Dollar Tree's pink burlap ribbon, and I'm making a simple bow for the top. I gave myself about a 4-inch tail, and I made just about a 3-inch loop. I then twisted the ribbon into another loop and then secured the center with a piece of floral wire. I then cut off the matching length tail at an angle. I snipped off the excess wire in the back and then hot glued the bow to the top of my blocks. I'm using some of the Dollar Tree's sparkly heart stickers as accents on my project. I'm placing the small pink heart on top of the large red heart, and I'll be making two of these. They're really sticky on the back, so I attached two of them onto the bow. I want to make a riser for my blocks, and I'm using a 5 by 6 inch wooden heart that I found at the Dollar Tree. I painted it with my same white acrylic paint, and when it was dry, I used the pink acrylic paint and gave it the same decorative edge as my blocks. To raise up the riser, I'm using 3 wooden beads that I already had on hand, and I painted them with the same pink acrylic paint. I turned the wooden heart over, and using my E6000, I attached the 3 beads on the bottom. When I was done, I then gave my riser a couple of hours to set up, and then all that was left to do was place my Be Mine blocks on the top. And with that, this cute Be Mine DIY is ready for Valentine's Day. Here we are at the end of the video, and I really hope you enjoyed making these Valentine's Day DIYs with me. If you're looking for more home decor ideas or inspiration, I'll leave some at the end of this video as well as in my description. If you're new to my channel and you're thinking, hey, I'd like to come back and hang out with her again, don't forget to click that little red subscribe button below. I hope you all have a safe and amazing day, and I'll be sure to see you soon. Bye, everybody!